Hey everybody, Hoosier Hysteria, Scoop Talk, Hugh Kelmer, Dustin Apiriak. Inside the hall is Zachary Osterman.
And a special guest star today.
And a special guest star, the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette's Lamont Pope, making his Scoop Talk debut.
Nice to join you guys.
Guys,
It's a big moment.
Yeah.
It's a big moment.
The official start of the basketball season with a celebratory practice.
Yeah.
Did we learn anything about the Hoosiers?
No,
Victor
of course
Oladipo
not. Victor
believes
Oladipo
that-
can jump really high.
That the president is just like any other man.
Did he say that?
He did say that. That was
That's good.
fun. That
It was a good quote.
It was a good quote. It was entertaining.
That may actually turn the midterm elections around.
It
That
might.
quote right there.
It might. Victor Oladipo is
That
turned the Democrats.
the rally to restore sanity may be built around that.
I think
Victor Oladipo turns back the Tea Party.
There were some. I mean, there were mild things. I
Dunks
mean,
over the Tea
Matt
Party.
Roth
Continue.
looked fine. Mark Michel certainly separated himself from Tijon and Bawa. I mean, I'm not trying to make light of either of those guys, and I know that the standards weren't set too high, but I certainly think that it's clear he's a 15, 20 minute a night guy at least.
Right.
He's got a little more. Go ahead.
Tom Crean has continually said that Mark Michel has a lot of want to, which is code for maybe that Tijon and Bawa did not have a lot of want to. And
I don't know if want to was the word.
There may have been some degree of happy to be here, happy to be in college, happy to be on a college basketball team. There may be a higher degree of work ethic.
I don't necessarily read it that way. I mean, I think there might be a higher degree of work ethic, but I think there's also some level of understanding that just wasn't there with those two. I don't think those guys didn't want it. I just don't think they necessarily understood.
Mm-hmm.
There was just a really high hill to climb with those two, and Mark Michel obviously had the same thing, especially when he started playing ball at around 16. But after 2 years at JUCO, it seems like he's a lot further along.
But Tijon had 2
than
years at
those.
JUCO.
True, but Tijon must not have gotten much from that. He did.
I
I don't get the impression that he's saying that Guy has a lot more heart, that those guys didn't have any drive. I get the impression that there's at least a little bit more to work with there, and that he, it kind of allows him to be more driven because there's at least some degree of a foundation that maybe those guys didn't have in terms of skill work. That's my read.
I mean, Guy could, not to be flippant, Guy could shoot.
Yeah.
Tijon and to an extent Bawa, although we barely ever saw it, could post up.
Yeah.
I mean, he could put a button to somebody and catch the ball and take a couple dribbles. The minute he turned toward the basket, that was it. There was no shot or anything like that. I mean, Hugh, you pointed out in the live chat, if Michelle can get that hook shot to fall 50% of the time this year, that's an awfully. I mean, for a guy who's 7'1" with a 7'8" wingspan, that's an awfully hard thing to defend.
Yeah.
And
Coke, thoughts?
Well, it was nice to see that hook shot. It was a developed shot, but something that the other two guys just really never had in the initial level. So when you mentioned, I think the big thing is just he comes on in and it looks like he's a little more developed as far as basketball players are concerned.
Mhm.
And that's going to help out immediately because I think it'll make some sort of an impact with the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting to see. I mean, you can't only take so much. It was a 14-minute running clock scrimmage.
Right.
But you could take something out of who was guarding who. And
No,
Tom
it
Pritchard and Mark Michel did guard each other, and Elston and Capobianco guarded each other for a great extent.
Yeah.
And Watford was actually guarding Jeremiah Rivers.
Mm.
So
Which
Mark
says that they're
Michel's
making him a
development may force allow Watford into playing the three to branch out. And Capobianco has insisted since he was a recruit that he's not a 5.
Right. And
So if he can develop into a 4,
yeah, there aren't a lot of true 5s. I would say a lot of people, a lot of 5s out
Very
there are
few.
5s
Most
because
of
they
them
have
are-
to be.
Most of them are in
Because
the
someone
NBA.
has to play the 5.
yeah.
But I think that's the big thing. I mean, if you look at how the ways in which they develop physically in this offseason, it's clear that Watford committed to being a 3, and Elston very much committed to being a 4.
Right.
Elston is a huge man right now.
Yes.
I mean, that guy, no one transformed this offseason like Derek Elston did. I don't know exactly what he's up in weight, but he looks like a Big Ten power forward now.
And he added some
Watford
ink.
did not do that. You did not look at, Watford obviously probably needed to make a bigger, size improvement, I guess.
Right.
If he was going to continue to play power forward like he did last year, he didn't build up like that. He's more wiry, strong looking. He looks stronger, but, he doesn't look like he added the 20 or, so pounds that Elston looks like he put on. And that's a game changer.
And I think maybe you ask a question, is that to an extent the way was that.
I think that was
planned?
designed. Yes,
Yeah,
I think that was designed.
to say,
Yeah.
look, Derek, we know you can do a lot of good things away from the basket, but we're going to need you to play down low,
Right.
Because frankly, we need Christian somewhere else, and we
Right.
think that you can benefit us more.
Yeah, no, I you're exactly right. I think it was by design, but it also means somebody down there's got to play the 5. Neither one of those guys are going to do it. But I guess that was
jump a lot higher than I thought he could.
Lamont,
true. Will Sheehy can
Right.
Will Sheehy can jump.
Lamont, put yourself in the mind of a 16-year-old high school junior. Were you impressed by Hoosier Hysteria?
Be honest.
Certain aspects, yes. I mean, I think that
The
most
fireworks.
kids, most kids love fireworks.
The lingering
Yeah.
sulfur cloud.
that may have poisoned all of us tonight.
It gave the impression that we were in the old Boston Garden.
But continue.
But I think that overall, there's certain aspects that the recruits going to get out and that they're going to enjoy. Kids do that. They do like those special effects, and they're plenty, and they're
Yeah.
long, and they like the individual attention that each guy is getting. Players come on down one at a time through different stairwells, and so that added to the whole showcase aspect of it that Indiana hasn't had in the past. And it's something that a lot of these schools are now are doing. A lot of these schools have been doing it for a long time. Now they just have to catch up. Let's see. As far as just the actual basketball part, you're not going to get anything out of it.
Right.
Right.
As you said, it's just it was what it was. It was very slow. 14 minutes of basketball, which is to be expected at this point in time. The dunk contest, it was good from Indiana's perspective to have someone that can actually do something athletic
Yeah.
and see sort of understand that as well.
It's been a while.
It was
Yeah.
not a walk-on who's never going to see the court again.
Like Stephen Gambles, who won
Yeah.
the dunk contest last year.
Right.
Victor Oladipo can really jump. It's
He
tough
can,
to tell
yeah.
what kind of player he's going to be. You don't necessarily, the handle isn't spectacular, the shot's okay. He can defend, and he can rebound, but if you're looking for a kid to put on a show, he knows how to do it. He's extremely, creative kid, and just a funny dude to talk to when it comes to just being a fan favorite. Oladipo's just got all the tools in that aspect. If he plays at all, he's going to be beloved in this town. Basically.
Yeah. Let's talk about the event in 2 weeks. Night of the Living Red. It's a ramped up haunted Hall of Hoops, which they've been doing for a couple of years. But it was kind of a low key midday Saturday affair. Suddenly, Night of the Living Red is going to be 2 weeks from Friday. Full on scrimmage, game-like atmosphere. It's going to be officiated, winners and losers. It's going to be really coached.
I wonder why that is. Maybe.
And someone's going to be in town.
I heard about that. Who's that kid?
To be fair to Tom, I did think about this. He has done this for 2 years.
This is not a brand new
yeah.
event, but they have certainly
But
changed the
you're right,
entire
that
tenor of the event.
There are a couple of recruits that will be in town that weekend. One that we cannot mention because he is under the umbrella of an ongoing NCAA investigation.
And he might get to be. And if Baylor gets his way, he might get deported.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And then the one that everybody wants. I think if they could have kicked out every other recruit that showed up tonight and somehow made
And just had Cody Zeller show
turn
up.
up. This place, you said, I think you said, I don't know what's going to happen.
If Cody had just ran out at some point,
And Candy
It
Strap
would have
warm-ups.
gone.
right? Oh yeah. If he had just come,
It would have been like the Beatles.
He didn't even need to do that.
It would have been the Beatles at Ed
he could-
Sullivan.
Right.
Theater.
He could have just walked out in an Adidas hoodie and waved. And
Consequently, that's all he owns, or Adidas hoodies.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That
well.
would-
When you're a
it
part of
would've
the
gone off
Indiana
the
League
charts.
program,
It's true.
Adidas outfits you very well.
It was strange. We talked about this a little bit. Yogi Ferrell was the only guy who had his name changed tonight.
Well, as Basil Smotherman.
Yeah, it's an easy name to chant.
It is. But I was a
Right.
little bit surprised about that. There were some
Also,
names
we
out
can't
there.
figure out which Scott twin should.
Right, exactly. Which one are they really going
What
after?
kind of surprised me with the whole, because obviously, Indiana knows what lines it can and can't cross in publicizing this thing, obviously. But it sort of surprised me they waited till the end of the night to mention it. Because
A little bit.
Well, because the crowd
You're
had already,
going to hear a lot about it in the next 2 weeks.
But the crowd had already thinned out. You had a chance if you do it at the very beginning. When
Right.
there's 10,000 people here, as opposed to when there's 5 or 6. You get a lot more exposure that way. It's
maybe.
Yeah. Or another.
We're going to go ahead and finish up. Check out Fort Wayne Journal Gazette inside the hall. and Bloomington Herald Times
Football tomorrow.
for Hoosier Hysteria coverage and football. So, thanks everybody.
Thanks.